Rising above the waters of the Detroit River, a new titan of steel and concrete now stretches across the border, linking two nations in a bold architectural statement. The Gordie Howe International Bridge, a $4.8 billion marvel of modern engineering, was meant to symbolize progress, unity, and cross-border cooperation between Canada and the United States. Yet, instead of harmony, it's become the epicenter of a fierce political and economic storm, casting a shadow over its gleaming structure. What should have been a seamless conduit for commerce and prosperity has instead sparked a bitter tariff showdown between Canada and the United States, threatening the very trade it was built to facilitate. This isn't just a local dispute, it's a conflict with the potential to destabilize global trade relationships, sending shockwaves far beyond North America. The bridge was meticulously designed to ease the flow of goods across North America's busiest commercial land border, supporting thousands of jobs and billions in trade. But now, it's ignited a firestorm of protectionist rhetoric, retaliatory measures, and heated debates on both sides of the border. The steel holding the bridge together now mirrors the hardened positions and stubborn resolve of two powerful nations locked in conflict. The conflict began with a sudden move by the Trump administration. Steep tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, citing national security concerns and sparking outrage. The timing was pointed. Just as the bridge neared completion, the trade relationship between the two countries was thrown into uncertainty. Canada, which financed the entire project, responded swiftly with its own targeted tariffs, escalating the standoff and deepening the rift. This tit-for-tat battle is escalating, leaving industries, workers, and entire communities on both sides in turmoil and uncertainty. In this series, we'll explore the history behind the bridge, the political climate fueling this dispute, and the far-reaching impacts of this tariff war on everyday lives. This is more than a story about a bridge or a border crossing. It's about the fragile nature of international alliances and how quickly trust can be tested in a changing world. And it's about the uncertain future of global trade in a polarized world, where every decision can have worldwide consequences. The world is watching to see if this symbol of connection will ultimately unite us, or deepen the divides that threaten to pull us apart. To grasp the bridge's significance, we must look back. For nearly a century, the privately owned Ambassador Bridge has carried the weight of U.S. Canada trade. But it's aging, and experts have long warned of the risks of relying on a single private crossing. After 9/11, the vulnerability of this critical infrastructure became clear. Any disruption could cripple both economies. The need for a new publicly owned bridge became urgent, yet powerful interests fought back. The Maroon family, owners of the Ambassador Bridge, waged a campaign to block the project. Years of legal and political battles followed, driving up costs and urgency. In 2012, frustrated by U.S. gridlock, Canada offered to pay for the entire project, including U.S. customs plazas and highway ramps. This bold move broke the stalemate, and the Gordie Howe International Bridge was finally greenlit. It's a project born from a century of shared history and decades of struggle. The stage was set for a new era of cross-border connection. The Gordie Howe International Bridge is an engineering marvel and a massive investment in North America's future. Its cable-stayed design with two soaring towers will support 6 lanes of traffic and be the continent's longest of its kind. Unlike the old Ambassador Bridge, it connects directly to major highways, cutting transit times and reducing congestion. 2 advanced customs plazas will streamline security and trade, using cutting-edge technology for efficient processing. The goal, a secure, fluid border that keeps commerce moving. Named for hockey legend Gordie Howe, the bridge symbolizes cross-border friendship and endurance. Construction began in 2018, with opening set for 2026. But as the final pieces come together, the spirit of cooperation is under threat. Instead of uniting, the bridge has become a flashpoint for division. Its promise now hangs in the balance. The trade dispute erupted with stunning speed, catching both governments and the public off guard. What began as a simmering disagreement quickly escalated into a full-blown crisis, dominating headlines and sparking heated debates across North America. In August 2025, President Trump invoked Section 232, imposing 25% tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, citing national security concerns. The move was both bold and controversial, sending shockwaves through international markets and raising questions about the future of cross-border trade. Critics called the move political theater, punishing Canada for financing the bridge and appealing to voters in the Midwest, where manufacturing jobs are a key political issue. Many saw it as a calculated strategy to rally support ahead of the upcoming election. Canada's response was swift and resolute. Prime Minister Trudeau called the tariffs unacceptable and insulting, vowing to defend Canadian interests at all costs. Canada retaliated with targeted tariffs on U.S. goods from key electoral states, sending a clear message that it would not be bullied. The list included products like whiskey, orange juice, and even lawnmowers, all chosen for their political impact. The standoff is tense, with tariffs set to take effect in just a few weeks. Behind closed doors, negotiators scramble to find common ground, but progress is slow and tempers are flaring. Diplomatic channels are buzzing with urgent calls and late-night meetings, but neither side is backing down. The atmosphere is charged with uncertainty and mistrust. The Trump administration demands new trade concessions, including revenue sharing from bridge tolls, a demand Canada flatly rejects as overreach. Canada insists the bridge was fully financed by its taxpayers and calls the tariffs illegal under international law, rallying public support at home. Two allies now teeter on the edge of a trade war, their decades-long partnership suddenly in jeopardy. The new bridge stands as a silent monument at the center of the conflict, its future uncertain as political tensions mount. The world watches, uncertain of what comes next. Global markets react nervously, and leaders from other nations urge restraint. The stakes could not be higher. Jobs, industries, and the very fabric of international cooperation hang in the balance as the crisis deepens. The impact of this dispute ripples far beyond North America. It signals to the world that even close allies can become targets of sudden, politically motivated tariffs. Global trust in the U.S. as a trade partner is shaken. The North American supply chain, especially in autos, is vulnerable, with parts crossing the border multiple times. Tariffs drive up costs, threaten jobs, and raise prices for consumers. Border communities like Windsor and Detroit feel the strain as daily life and business are disrupted. The conflict undermines the rules-based order both countries helped build. By bypassing the WTO, the US weakens the very system it once championed. The risk a global slide into protectionism and economic instability. For businesses, this isn't politics, it's survival. Mary Anderson, an Ohio Auto Parts CEO, fears her company can't absorb a 25% jump in steel costs. Layoffs loom, and the sense of being collateral damage is real. In Canada, farmers like John Van der Veen worry decades of cross-border trade relationships are at risk. The trucking industry, vital to both economies, faces longer delays and higher costs. Bill O'Connell, a veteran trucker, says, "This bridge was supposed to make things faster, not slower." Even untargeted industries are pausing investments amid uncertainty. Financial markets react nervously as confidence erodes. The prosperity of the region depends on the free flow of goods. When that's threatened, growth stalls and anxiety rises. The real-world consequences are felt by ordinary people, business owners, workers, and families. The bridge, once a promise of progress, now stands as a reminder of what's at stake. The cost of this conflict is measured in livelihoods, not just dollars. The stakes are personal and growing. Experts see this as more than a simple trade spat. It's a high-stakes game of political leverage where every move is calculated and every gesture scrutinized by both domestic and international audiences. The stakes are enormous, with billions of dollars and the credibility of entire governments on the line. Dr. Meredith Shaw calls it performative protectionism, using tariffs not just as economic tools, but as a way to project strength, rally public support, and force concessions from the other side. It's a performance for both voters at home and negotiators abroad. The Gordie Howe Bridge, a symbol of cross-border cooperation, has become a convenient target in this larger struggle, caught in the crossfire of political maneuvering. Legally, the U.S. position is shaky. Section 232 tariffs arguably violate the spirit, if not the letter, of the USMCA, undermining the trust that underpins the agreement. Canada can retaliate and challenge the tariffs at the WTO, but that's a slow and uncertain process, often taking years to resolve, while the economic pain is felt immediately. Dr. Patrick Leblond warns of escalation. There are no clean strikes in a trade war between these economies. Everyone gets hurt. The ripple effects can be unpredictable and far-reaching. Prolonged conflict could permanently damage supply chains as companies seek more reliable alternatives and shift investments elsewhere, eroding decades of integration. General Rick Hillier notes the geopolitical risk. Public feuding between close allies sends a signal of weakness to adversaries who may seek to exploit divisions. It distracts from bigger global threats such as rising authoritarianism and economic instability and undermines Western unity at a critical moment. The dispute is a self-inflicted wound with consequences that reach far beyond trade, affecting diplomatic relations, security cooperation, and public trust. The longer it drags on, the more lasting and difficult the damage will be to repair, both economically and politically. The world's eyes are on North America's leaders, watching to see if they can rise above short-term politics and find a path back to cooperation. The next moves on this diplomatic chessboard will shape not just the future of trade but the very nature of the alliance for years to come. Resolving this crisis demands diplomacy and restraint. Leaders must lower the rhetoric and open quiet back-channel negotiations. A temporary suspension of tariffs could create space for real dialogue. A joint task force could address economic impacts and legitimate concerns. Business leaders must keep pressure on politicians to end the trade war. The solution lies in reaffirming respect for agreements and the deep economic ties between the two nations. The bridge was built in the spirit of partnership. Now leaders must remember that spirit and choose cooperation over conflict. The Gordie Howe International Bridge is more than steel and cables, it's an idea. It stands for the belief that we're stronger together. This tariff war threatens to replace cooperation with suspicion. The choices made now will echo for years. We must demand statesmanship, not brinkmanship, from our leaders. The bridge should open as a symbol of renewed partnership, not fractured friendship. The world is watching. Let this bridge be a testament to friendship, not a battleground. The path of cooperation built this bridge. Only cooperation can secure its promise for the future.